Hey guys, welcome back again to Rebuild Reality. I am, of course, your host, Guy Cheyenne, and today's video may be one of the most important videos I ever do. Yeah, seriously. So, I made a video a few weeks ago about talking about when there was other people were talking about playing characters, right? That you can play a character, and of course, absolutely, it's better to play a better character, to see yourself as a better character in this play than you previously had. But something about it, it just kept niggling me. It just kept like, what is it? What is there about that it just wasn't sitting right with me? And and then I finally realized what it was, because certainly in this world, if you ask a question, you will absolutely get an answer, which is pretty freaking cool when you realize that. And a lot of people, at first it happens where the answer comes and it takes a while, so they don't get it, like, oh, it showed up a week later. But when you start getting it, and as soon as you ask a question, you start looking for it, bam, it's right there. I mean, literally within seconds, things come in a lot of times. But with this, I was like, what is it about it that keeps bothering me? Because I couldn't say it was like that it was wrong, because it isn't wrong, to see yourself as as a character, a good guy, a bad guy, king or queen or anything you want to do. Because, like I said, seeing yourself as a better character than you have been seeing in this play and stepping into that is obviously a better move to make. But the reason it's better not to be any character at all is because characters in a play are going by the script that somebody else wrote. Because when you say, I'm this, I'm that, then you get everything that goes along with it. You get all the other supporting cast, you get the backdrop, you get all the other characters. If you embody that person, then you get everything that goes along with it. So when we're embodying and saying, yes, I'm another character in the play, I'm not that character anymore because I didn't like that character, but I'm going to be this character because to me it's more appealing. But we're still saying someone else is in charge. We're still admitting, declaring that we're not in charge of the whole thing. So that's why we want to recognize ourselves as the one creating it. No, I'm the director. I'm in charge. I am producing, writing, and directing this. I'm doing all of it. I'm the one that says what happens, because that's the person. This is who I'm identifying as. And when we identify as that, then it's like all of creation and non-creation recognizes us. It's like, oh, you are taking on your true identity. And with that comes this huge, massive shift, because then we're coming from that perspective. We're saying that I am that. I am the creator of all things. I am not a character in the 3D shadow world. I'm coming from here. So when we are creating, like I like to say, I like to call it, reality creating as opposed to manifesting, because we're manifesting 24/7. You can't turn it off. You cannot turn off manifestation. And from this perspective, it's just what we experience here. But we can, of course, direct it. Now, I think the main problem, the main issue people have when they are creating their reality, when they are trying to rewrite the script or write a whole new script, is that they still play by 3D rules. Because we have to recognize that there are two different worlds here. We have two completely different worlds. And they are the reflection of each other. Like everyone says, it's the mirror, right? 3D is the shadow world. It's the world of illusion. It's where it's on stage and the play is happening. The play is unfolding, right? But we don't want to be coming from that perspective, where we're trying to change the play while we're on stage. We want to go backstage over here, which is the world of our imagination. Because this is where we are the director. This is where we are the producer. This is where we are writing the whole script, because we can imagine anything into being and see it here immediately, which is, of course, where ask and it's given comes from. Because, like, yeah, you asked, you imagined it, and that, you have it. It's just that when we're here in the 3D world, our mind here, our egoic mind, is like, this is the only world. It's the only thing I see. Yep, because it's the only thing it has the ability to see. It has a very limited perspective. That's why we go with our other senses, with the part that our 3D egoic mind says, that's not real. That's not real to me. That's not my reality. My reality is right here, solid. You can knock on it. You can hit it with a brick. It's real. Of course, it's real. But of course, it's only looking from that perspective, through its senses, through its eyes, through its interpretation. It doesn't see anything outside of that, when there is everything outside of it. All it knows is being on stage. It doesn't know anything about everything backstage. But when we go into our imagination, it's like we've been on stage, but now we can finally look around the corner and be like, holy shit, there's all the other costumes. There's all the other props, all the other backdrops. Every reality, every version of reality I could ever think of and more is right there. Because we're able to go in and look from that perspective. Then we can see it. But the mind is like, that's not true. That's not real. Because it has already declared, like I said before, if you look it up in a dictionary and you're like, what is the imagination? It still says basically that something that you made up, something that's not real. And that's what we've grown up with. We're so used to being like, like everyone is like, nope, that's not real. No, I don't know what you're talking about. And we're like, yeah, it's real. And they're like, okay, lady, cuckoo. But of course, people like Neville Goddard completely understood that the imagination is the true reality. That's what he learned from Abdullah, was that that's the true world. That's why he said, Jesus is your imagination. God is your imagination. That is the true world. And that's why, the saying is, the whole world believes a lie. Because from these limited senses plugged into this virtual reality, full plug-in, what we perceive as full plug-in, but it's like, 5 plugs, like hearing, seeing, tasting, feeling, smelling, etc. It's pretty limited perspective from what our true reality actually is. So we keep trying to create by still applying 3D rules. So when our 3D persona, character, our 3D perception is like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I've been going in and imagining. I don't see it. It's not real. It's a lie. Okay, I must not be doing it right. I must need to push harder. I've got to start applying 3D rules again. And 3D rules are, I got to work for it. I got to push. I got to go to town on this thing. And if I don't get it, and I really want it, I'll do whatever it takes. I will scream. I will cry. I will kick. I will throw an all-out tantrum to get what I want. So, and this is what so many people, they have this approach when we're trying to create something that we want. Because we hear other people getting their stuff, and we go about it the wrong way, though. So 3D is the world of doing. That's what we're used to doing, right? We're used to having to do it all. It's like there's no one, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. So we keep applying these 3D rules to reality creation, when reality creating doesn't work like that. It doesn't go by those rules because it's in a different world. It is, of course, in the opposite mirror world. So the opposite rules apply. And this is what you'll find in the whole world of manifestation, is that the opposite world, the opposite rules apply to the way we think it's going to be. It doesn't go by 3D, it goes by the rules of our imagination. Some people call that 4D. I tend to call it the world of our creator, which is our true reality. It's the world of our imagination. So the world of 3D is a world of doing, whereas the world of our imagination is the world of being. You just be it. That's why you just be it, because it's the world of being. And from there, everything comes into being from a state of just being it, of accepting, yes, this is who I am. I'm playing this role. I am playing this role. I'm already playing this role. I'm already this person. I'm already this identification. I'm already writing this script for me. I'm already the one doing it by being it. It's just already there. There's like no effort to it. It's more really of an agreement. It's more of recognizing and agreeing that, yes, that's just who I am. I am, of course, the creator. I am the source. I am the God of it all. And, throughout life, there's so many influences that all of us have, from things that we've heard other people say, from religions, from society, from everywhere. And we have these concepts of what we think the creator, source, God, all these things are, because how can they be anything else but concept when we aren't in a place where from that reality we understand what it is. This is why there's been so much confusion over time. It's like, nope, mine's real. Nope, my God's real. Nope, my God's real. Your God's false. It's like the saying goes, everyone's got a different piece of the same elephant. It's like it's all the same thing, I remember going into, it was like years ago, at this spiritual fair, and had all these little kind of tasters where for 15 minutes you can go into all these different, workshops, and people would talk about their method. It's quantum this or quantum that or healing this or whatever it is, And I went to several of them, and I'm like, you're all talking about exactly the same thing, it's not a different thing. It's just one thing, because everything is one thing. So I think it's really just understanding these things, that we don't want to create, we don't want to apply 3D rules to something that's not coming from 3D to begin with. We have to apply the rules and come from this perspective where everything is created through our imagination, and it just comes into being simply because you say so, simply because you've chosen it. You're like, yes, that's what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to have. And I'm just going to sit here and kick back and just be like, yep, it is unfolding, because I've written the script. I have commanded it into being. So instead of coming from that lesser mind perspective of, oh, I'm asking for it, I'm hoping it happens, we're not really believing it, because we don't get that there are two different worlds here that we're talking about. And that one goes by those rules, and that one goes by those rules. And to me, in all of it, instead of playing a character who has to go by the rules that are written for it, coming from the place where you are declaring yourself, yes, I am the creator. It's no big deal. It's just who I am. It's just who you are. Going by your true identity means you are recognized. It's like, oh, finally you're being who you really are, which is which is exactly what the rest of us wants to do, because it wants to wake up through us. that's the whole point, right? Is to have this expanded awareness that gets bigger and bigger, and you keep seeing more and more and more because you keep coming back bigger and bigger. You know, you keep seeing more of this whole thing and what it really is and how it really works. And when you are identifying as that, then you're in the flow. Then everything works and everything fits. It all fits together because you're where you truly belong, at the seat of power, because the place of power is not in 3D, which is just the shadow, mirror, pretend world. The place of power is the one who's writing it all, who's creating it all, who's making it happen to begin with. So I hope that really kind of helps clear this up, that we are talking about literally two different worlds here. And we have to understand that you can live in one world or you can live in the other. And it's absolutely a choice. And even though our conscious mind is like, I only see this world, it's like, well, from this perspective, eyes open. But from this perspective, eyes closed, I can see any world I choose to create. Now you're not just seeing one world, you're seeing infinity, right where you belong. So I hope that helps you guys kind of clear things up about things, and puts you in that place of power, puts you in that place of knowing, puts you where you need to be creating from, to knowing that that is the true world. We just have to accept that is absolutely real. And in accepting it, you begin to take it on board and be like, okay, yes. You start, when you come into agreement, then it becomes your reality. When you say, yes, it is true, then you see it, because 3D is the world of, I'll believe it when I see it. Whereas the world of our imagination, the true world of creation, is I'll see it. I'll believe it first. I will believe it first, then I will see it in this perspective. But at the same time, you're seeing it here. So you're seeing it and believing it, and then you're seeing it again in the pretend world. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I hope it helps. Thanks, you guys, for being here with me again once again on Rebuild Reality. Go ahead, and if you want to do the like, share, comment thing, I always love interacting with you guys, seeing what you have to say. And I look forward to seeing you here next time on Rebuild Reality.